This is my time lapse of the eclipse. And this is what it looks like before stabilizing it. It took me some time to figure out how to do this, so let me show you how you can make your time lapse look like this. So first, you need to edit your photos. Here I have all my raw files, and as you can see, they are actually JPEGs. And that is because I'm extremely stupid and forgot to change my camera to RAW. So I have 300 JPEGs, which is okay. I mean, there's not that much information that I'm losing. It's just black and orange. Let's create a new sequence. New item, sequence, 4K, 30 FPS. Now let's open the image sequence. Click on the first image, make sure that image sequence is checked, open, drag into the timeline. We're going to keep the existing settings. I'm going to zoom in. And so far it looks like this. Now I'm going to find the frames in which I'm changing the position of the camera. So first it's here. So it's in that frame. So I'm going to cut right there. We're going to repeat that so that each camera position is a different clip. Thankfully, I only moved my camera 8 times. Now I'm going to right click on the first one and click on Replace with After Effects Composition. Now here in After Effects, I'm going to create the project. And here we have the first clip. So make sure that you have this window, the tracker. If you don't, make sure it's showing here, tracker. And we're going to click on Stabilize Motion. I'm going to move the tracker. And I'm going to put it here on a contrasting point. And I'm going to make sure that I know that that side of the sun, I know it's not going to be covered during this section. So I'm going to pick this. The larger you make the square, the more accurate it's going to be, but it's also going to take longer and it's going to be harder on your computer. So you click on Analyze Forward, and that looks pretty much perfect. So we click on Apply, click OK, and now if we play the video, it looks like that. Perfect. So I'm going to go back to Premiere, and now it looks like this. So we're going to do the same with the rest of them. And it should look something like this at the end. Each of them are stabilized, but they are not in the same place. Now I'm going to create a new sequence because this is in 4K and that's perfect for stabilizing it. But now I'm going to create my final video and that's going to be 1080. So I don't really need a 4K video for this. So I'm going to create a 1080 timeline. So 1080, 30 frames per second. Now I'm going to take all my clips, copy, paste. Here they are. Now I'm going to pick which one is going to be the middle. And I know that the first frame of this clip is actually pretty good. That frame is going to be in the middle of my video. That's good enough for now. This is also a good time to rescale your footage. If you want the sun to be bigger in your frame, you should do that now because it might be a little bit more difficult to do it later. If you forget to do it, don't worry, you can also just nest the sequence and reframe the whole thing at the end. It really doesn't matter. Now I'm going to move the rest of them roughly in the same spot. Now I'm going to go back to the one that's going to be in the middle of the video, and that's this one. So we're going to start with the ones that come after that one. I can turn this off now. Let's go to the end. and we can see it jump right there. So I'm actually going to put this clip on a different channel. I'm going to go back one frame. I'm going to bring down the opacity so that we can see both of them. We're going to zoom in. Now we can move the second one, the one that comes after, to make sure that it's right over the other one. It's not going to align perfectly because it's a different frame. Now I can bring back the opacity. And as you can see, it rotates a little bit. And that's just normal because I was using a ball head in my tripod. So it was naturally getting rotated. So I can make sure I know in which direction it's rotating. So I know that I need to correct this one. So it needs to rotate in this direction. But as you can see, it's going to move in a different way that we want. So I'm going to go back to this view. I'm going to zoom out on the timeline, and I'm going to make sure that the anchor point is in the middle of the sun for each one of the clips. So I click on the clip, click on anchor point, and we can't see it. So we need to go forward. Now we can move it to the center, and then we do that to the rest. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as it's roughly in the center, it should work. So now we can go back to this clip right here, right at the first frame. I'm going to zoom back in. And now if I rotate, it's actually going to rotate where I want it to rotate, which is perfect. So I know I want it to go in that direction, so I'm going to rotate it a little bit. So I go back and check. It needs to rotate a little bit more. And this is the time-consuming part, because this is manual. You have to go frame by frame, and as you can see, it's not quite right. It still needs to be rotated a little bit. So you go back, rotate, then check again. And that should be pretty much seamless. That's good enough for me. So now you go to the next clip. You're gonna zoom in. You're gonna put this other clip on the top channel. Bring back the opacity. We're going to zoom in. Try to align them as best as you can, and then you rotate them. And at some point, you can't really tell which is which. And that's when you need to bring it back to where it should be, bring back the opacity, and then check frame by frame. Now we have 3 clips together. Now you can go back and change the other clips, and you can get as perfectionistic as you want. This layer here is just the color correction, and by the end you should have something like this.
I would love to see your time lapse, so share it in the comments and I'll check it out. Thank you for watching. Bye.